Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Patrick Howley, and I am a citizen journalist. You can find my work at patrickreports.com. Welcome to the Kamala Files. Did you know that the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris White House attempted to rob hundreds of millions of dollars from its Small Business Administration's disaster loan program, and they tried to transfer the money to accounts intended to pay the salaries of their own Biden-Harris administration officials? This is according to White House documents. Biden-Harris used COVID-19 as an excuse to try to redirect the funds. Now, Joe Biden says the disaster loan program has run out of money, leaving suffering Americans in a crisis after Hurricanes Helene and Milton devastated the lives of countless American families. The Biden-Harris White House tried to rob $227 million from disaster loans program balances to spend it on supposed COVID-19 program administrative needs. And guess what? The Biden-Harris White House tried to spend up to $213 million of that disaster loan money for salaries and expenses for their own people. Meanwhile, the Biden-Harris administration's Federal Emergency Management Agency, aka FEMA, spent hundreds of millions of dollars feeding and sheltering and serving illegal immigrants before Hurricane Helene, while they ignored an Inspector General report warning them that their disaster relief fund had a multi-billion-dollar deficit due to misplaced funds. Various cities and counties and numerous Catholic Charities chapters received funding for migrant shelter and services during fiscal year 2024, which ended on September 30th. Catholic Charities Archdiocese of San Antonio, Inc., I love that Inc. in there, got an allocation from FEMA for more than $10.8 million, while Catholic Charities Diocese of San Diego got a more than $19.5 million handout. Other recipients include the Salvation Army and chapters of the United Way. The program is run by a national board that includes representatives from American Red Cross, Catholic Charities USA, the Jewish Federations of North America, National Council of Churches of Christ in the USA, the Salvation Army, and United Way worldwide. A local news station in Wisconsin profiled FEMA and Catholic Charities' collaboration on housing illegal migrant children all the way back in 2014, a decade ago.
FEMA and Catholic Charities often work together. Now, the Milwaukee Office of Catholic Charities has been called on to look for temporary housing for the immigrant children while they wait for legal action. Catholic Charities USA asked directors in cities close to immigration courtrooms to find temporary homes. Father Bergner found 3. 2 former schools, one in the city of Milwaukee and one in Milwaukee County, and one underutilized office building elsewhere in the state.
FEMA would provide some of the basics needed to, I think, house people with dignity. That means a little more than a sleeping bag.
FEMA found the time to produce this very cringeworthy video on inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility in exercises. What a Kafkaesque word salad that is. Their words, obviously. It sounds like Kamala wrote that. So they found the time to produce this video back in 2023, demonstrating the incompetent agency's fatuous progressive priorities.
To encourage whole community preparedness, distinct perspectives are necessary to provide insight into the community's needs. This means involving people with disabilities and other access and functional needs, as well as diverse linguistic, ethnic, and socioeconomic backgrounds in preparedness efforts.
Kamala is getting rightly ratioed for trying to offer hurricane victims a $750 payment, while her regime spends many billions of dollars on foreign wars, including in Ukraine, for Volodymyr Zelensky, who played the piano with his penis. The establishment is trying to push the narrative that the Shelter and Services Program is a different pool of money than the Disaster Relief Fund, and therefore we should not compare the spending behavior of the two different programs. but that's nonsense. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season, said Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of Joe Biden's DHS, which oversees FEMA. But an Inspector General report from August 14th, 2024, entitled FEMA's Inadequate Oversight Led to Delays in Closing Out Declared Disasters, made it very clear that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are to blame for this disaster. The Inspector General report was addressed to Biden-Harris FEMA head Deanne Criswell, and it said that billions of dollars in missing money was still available to be used by FEMA for disaster relief. Quote, as of July 2023, the DRF was projected to have a $4.3 billion deficit by the end of fiscal year 2023. Continued delays in FEMA closing older disasters put an added strain on the primary source of funding for the federal government's disaster relief program by withholding the return of $7.1 billion in potential monetary benefits, as detailed in Appendix D. Without stronger policies and improved oversight, FEMA risks continuing to close disaster programs in an untimely manner. Doing so prevents taxpayer dollars associated with expired or excessively extended grants from being returned to the Disaster Relief Fund, the Inspector General report states on page 10. Talk about a smoking gun. The Inspector General report recommended that FEMA, quote, assess and close, as appropriate, the 42 grant programs in our scope, representing $7 billion in unliquidated funding. How much of that unliquidated funding could have gone to hurricane victims in North Carolina, Florida, or the numerous other states ravaged by hurricanes? Kamala Harris's poor handling of hurricane response is her biggest negative issue on social media, according to Impact Social, as reported by Newsweek in an article entitled Kamala Harris's Hurricane Response Hurting Her Among Swing Voters, Analysis. But FEMA Chief Deanne Criswell found the time to get all amped up about supposed conspiracy theories in a conversation with the press. So at least she has her priorities in order. FEMA has been accused on social media of actually blocking supplies from getting to the hurricane victims in need. Elon Musk said that FEMA blocked the installation of Starlink terminals and other items that his SpaceX team tried to deliver in North Carolina. Kamala, meanwhile, tried to wiggle her way out of the jam by trying out a new Latina accent, which sounds like Cheech from the classic stoner comedy team Cheech and Chong.
Well, first of all, thank you for the question, and I hope your family is okay and your home is okay.
Kamala sounds confused pretty much all the time. Hopefully, Americans will not be confused on November 5th. Keep reading PatrickReports.com for the Kamala files. God bless America, and God bless President Donald J. Trump.